there's that side talon now that is rounded. And it's rounded all the way up. All the way up. There we go. It's rounded all the way up. Okay. So, 2 more to do. And then we'll be at a good point for a break. So this one, the grain's twisting on me a little bit. I'm going to be careful. If it gets much worse than this, I think I'm just going to rasp this one. The grain's really wanting to dive in. I could cut it from this way down, but there's no point. Let's take a rasp to it. Now if you really want to, you can measure up from the ball to the top of all these and get them to be the same dimension. They should be at height. So on these it ends up being 3/8 of an inch. About 3/8 of an inch, which is going to get cut down, I suppose, to 1/4 eventually. But you can get them all. You can measure them all. Try to get them all the same if you want. So let's go ahead and round this guy over. Now, this is where it gets a little interesting. How do you round into this ankle on the back one? And oftentimes, I think it's easier to want to view a finished leg, and this is not my best work, unfortunately. I hate to say it, but as you view the back, let's go get this in here. It's hard to see, but there. I'm going to zoom up. Okay, so as you view the back, there's a lot of material in this leg. This is really thick here, really thick. It's, you know, like a huge elephant leg relative to this one. Right, so we've got a lot of material to remove here. And it basically stays thin and just kind of tapers out. I could take more off the back of here if I wanted. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of remove some of this before I worry about rounding this too much. Sometimes it's easier to come at it this way. .512 works good for this as well. I'll just use that to round. Be a little bit careful pulling the chisel towards you. Stab yourself in the heart. Alright, now there's a lot of material to be removed in this area, right in here. So what I'm going to do is eventually we're gonna mark the top of the back talon, and we're going to basically scoop out all this area. But just to help me visualize it, what we want is, this is a nice S-curve coming down the back of the leg. I want to continue that S-curve in here and just bring it up kind of at the break point for now. It's going to remove a bunch of material. Just roll it over to the side like this. Now, again, all I'm trying to do is, I've got a point that's defined, that was defined when I did the cabriole leg up here. I'm just trying to make a continuous curve, continuous seam curve right down the back of the leg. And just roll it around to the side. This is one of these sort of, just, it doesn't feel real comfortable when you, the first couple of times carving. But I think if you just go slow and realize that you have to blend that to that, you have to have, this has to be a continuous surface. Just nibble a little bit away and go back to carving this thing round, and it'll all eventually flow really nice. Now I'm going to take more off than this ultimately, but this just helps me start to refine the back of this leg. So, we've got one to do yet. This one's not great, but you get a flavor for how we've removed a lot of material in here. This was pretty bulky. I now am able to round over this talon. And I round over the talon to just a little bit past the break point. Like a ball and claw leg. The next step doesn't really have to be done in this order. We could go define the knuckles on the talons and cut out the webbing and work on cleaning up the back. But I actually prefer to go ahead and put in the toenails or the actual claws next. So let's do that. And I'll probably put in the layout for the knuckles on the talons too. So these are on the drawing or on your template. And this is pretty universal. The claws will typically be 3/8 of an inch from the bottom. Now, most Philadelphia ball and claws will just have one knuckle, that will start here and come up here, and then another one there. I made a slight deviation on this. I put kind of a little tuft, if you will, that overhangs the talon. So that starts up a quarter of an inch from the talon. Then the knuckle, the next knuckle is 1 3/8 inches. And the top knuckle is 2 1/4 inches.